Now joining us here on College Hockey Now is newly appointed Wisconsin Badgers head coach Tony Granato. Coach, I truly appreciate you taking the time.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, now Coach, you played 4 years in Madison and went on to have an illustrious career in the NHL as both a player and head coach. So why come back to college hockey?
Well, I think when I left, the experience I had here as a college athlete, as a student athlete, was something you don't forget. It doesn't leave you. I think you always feel like you're part of the program. That's at least the way I felt throughout my journey through the NHL. So I was always looking for the opportunity that maybe someday I'd get a chance to be back. And when the opportunity was presented to me, and with the opportunity to come back and coach with Donnie and with Mark Wosicki, it was like, how fast can I get there? I mean, it was just, it was a great situation, and obviously we're all ecstatic to be back and be part of it.
Well, you mentioned you didn't come back alone. Your brother, Donnie and Badger alum Mark Wosicki, joined you as the associate head coaches. Now, it's clear the stipulation was there is no me without them. What do those two individually add to the coaching staff?
Well, first of all, when it was presented to me, and I guess my opinion was asked on what we need to do from a program's perspective. My thing was basically turn it over to Mark, turn it over to Donnie, or turn it over to Mark Johnson. You're in great hands, and great things will happen. And then I guess as the conversation continued with Coach Alvarez, he made a presentation. How do we get more than one of those guys back, and more so, why wouldn't you be interested in being part of that staff? And when he brought that up, and I thought through it and thought, geez, well, maybe this is a better situation for both Mark and Donnie if we all did it together. It all seemed to make sense. So the calls to those guys right after to say, hey, if this thing materializes, would you be interested in being part of the staff? So from my standpoint, the confidence I have in them, knowing them on what they bring to the table, is something that I need. I obviously haven't coached at this level. Mark has. Donnie's been coaching with the U.S. development program now 16, 17, 18-year-old kids for the last 5 years. He's been recruiting. He's been developing. Mark's specialty is developing defensemen. I need two guys alongside me that have the experience and have the expertise in the fields that they have to make this thing work.
Absolutely. Now you're tasked with rebuilding a program that helped mold you into the man you are today. How much pressure do you put on yourself to get the alma mater back to where it once was?
Well, I don't think it's pressure. I think the expectations for our program have always been the same. It's to be a national contending team. It's to be a top elite collegiate hockey program. There's a bunch of hungry guys here that are anxious to prove that what happened the last 2 seasons were not normal and were not what they expected either. So we got a lot of good pieces in place now. Obviously, we've hit the recruiting trail hard and made some strides there on some players that are going to be here in 2 and 3 and 4 years that we won't see for a while. But I think the players here in place have the responsibility on their shoulders as well to step it up, to play to a level that's acceptable, that's competitive, that can win. And that's what the University of Wisconsin hockey program's always been about. So I don't think there's any extra pressure. That's our normal expectations. And I think the players we have in place right now are very capable of having a real solid season, of putting some pieces in place for us that will help us as the future goes on as well.
So I want to talk just a little bit about this year's team. Obviously, Badger fans are not accustomed to what's been going on in the past. What's your first order of business when you guys hit the practice ice later this month?
Well, I think the first order, you could see that it was a fragile group that didn't have a whole lot of confidence in themselves. And when you go through 2 seasons like they did, that's normal. So our, focus on this summer was to get them in the weight room, to get them with each other, to challenge each other, to raise your expectations, to feel good about yourselves again, gain some confidence in yourselves. They came here and expected to be part of a winning tradition. So that was the first step, and I think once we get on the ice, it's about skill development. Our job as coaches and at any level is to help the players get better and feel more confidence in themselves and give them an opportunity to help their teams win. And that's what we'll start, I guess, when we get on the ice next week. That's the focus we'll have on, is their skill development and giving them the confidence to help us win games.
All right, Coach. So we look forward to the new era of Badger hockey. I really appreciate you taking the time and stopping by.
Thank you for having us on. I appreciate you guys. Great questions, too.